That's interesting. Like, I don't want to be the first poker vlogger to find 2 dead bodies on his vlog, but then again, I'd probably get a lot more followers. Please don't be any dead children.
Is there anyone alive out there?
Please excuse my raspy voice, but I'm down here in Tunica recording this voiceover, and some of the hillbillies still smoke. I don't know how, but they do, and it gets into my throat, and it makes it dry and scratchy, and then it sounds like I'm ill, so this is what I sound like, so I do apologize for that. Here I have pocket 10s, 3-way pot, ace, 6, 4, 2 hearts, giving me nothing. I bet $25 just in case these people have like pocket 7s, pocket 8s, and want to get out of dodge. Big blind comes along, and then the cutoff decides to come along, so I'm probably done in this hand. Very likely somebody has an ace. Another overcard on the turn comes a jack. We all check it. River card's a 6. Like I said, I'm done with this pot. I go ahead and check. It goes check, 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 actually. I turn my hand over, and somehow none of these knuckleheads can beat it. I'm up against 7-5 hearts, with a pretty nasty draw, but a pair of 10s beats it. Pot gets pushed my way. Off to a good start. 1-0 in the second vlog of the year. Moving right along, I'm under the gun here, and I look down at a wired pair of 6s. My 2 favorite 6s, the 6 of diamonds and the 6 of clubs. Don't ask me why. I make it $12 to go in hopes of building a pot so we can get some money in there on later streets after I flop my set. The low jack comes along for the $12, as does the button, and then eventually the big blind, I believe, will come along, and we'll see this flop 4 ways. Now the flop comes 8 high, which is not terrible for my hand, just 1 overcard, but it ends up going check, 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 check. Turn card 7, giving me an open-ended straight draw. I'm going to bet here, give myself 2 chances to win. 1, I may just have the best hand, and 2, if I get called, the river could complete my straight. I can also fire on non-diamond river cards as a bluff if I feel necessary, but I don't think that's going to be super relevant for this hand. The big blind on that jack of clubs bets $40, and I know I've said this before, but on the river, if they bet in these low stakes games, they always have it. They just do. And here I have 4th pair, so even if they don't have it, they can be bluffing with the best hand. So just fold. I don't fold. I call. Would you believe it? They have it.
I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Here's another spot where I get to play under the gun. I like to be under the gun because I get to go first. Well, unless the big blind plays. But we don't know if the big blind's going to play. Now, I limp here, and you're probably thinking, but Adam, you shouldn't be limping. You should be raising. And I would normally agree with you that if you're going to come into the pot first, you should raise. But what you don't know is that there is a gentleman who has been raising for orbits now in a row, and I want to be able to see the flop. And if I raise, he's going to make it, when he 3-bets, even larger. So that's why I limped in an attempt to call his smaller raise of whatever it was, $18, and that's what I did. Now he fires out 100 into $55. This is not just anybody firing 100 into $55. This is a very specific player doing it. When the big blind calls, the big blind knows what the button is doing, that he's kind of out there right now. So I'm not going to give the big blind all the credit in the world for having as strong a hand as I might normally. I come along, kind of sort of just see what happens, and what happens is I make 2 pair. Now what I could not have predicted, and neither could you, is that the big blind would lead out for $50 into $355. At this point, I am so confused in the hand, I end up just calling. I understand that that is probably incorrect. Put in the comments what I should have done if you'd like, but I ended up calling. The button calls 2, the river comes the king of spades, which is a safe-ish card. There's $500 out there. All I want to do is get to showdown right now for as cheaply as possible. The big blind bets 100. That'll work. That's fine. I'll just call this bet and hope that the button doesn't go nuts. If the button goes nuts, then we'll try to figure out what to do. But I'm hoping that this just goes to showdown. Sure enough, the button folds, And the big blind shows King Jack for a rivered second pair, and Ace 8 beats it, and I'm happily stunned. We're going to join this hand midway through the pre-flop action, where I, under the gun again, have raised to $15. Got a couple callers in the under the gun 1 button and big blind players. We go 4 ways to the flop, and it comes Ace, King, Jack, all hearts. Now, that is not perfect. So, after the big blind checks, I fire out a $35 bet because I did raise under the gun. I'm supposed to have some of these big cards, and the flop is big cards. So this is what they call range advantage me. But the button calls, turns a 7. I have third pair. It's kind of scary. Backdoor straight draw. Is it good if it hits? Who knows? 4 spades on the river. I go ahead and check this one. The button bets $50. And like I said earlier, they always have it. So I learned my lesson, and I fold correctly. We're even further along in the pre-flop action here, where 6 of us have decided to put in $15 for the right to see the 7-6-4 flop. I have neglected to show my cards to the whole camera. Why is that? I'm lazy. I don't know. I forgot. But hey, look, I connected pretty well. Top pair, up and down straight draw, backdoor flush draw, backdoor quad draw, backdoor trip draw, backdoor full house draw. All things that I can hit. 4 of us have put in $30 to see the turn card. And now the flush draw that I had mentioned is materializing. The big blind checks, the middle position player checks, the low jack thinks for a little bit and then decides to check. And this is a really good time for me to bet because my hand has a lot of good properties. All of those things that I said earlier about being able to hit these draws on the end are coming into fruition. I bet $150. The goal here is to get everybody to fold. But if they do call, I have options on the river, namely the 3, the 8, or the club. Of course, the 7 or the 5 could be as good as well, but they're a little bit less hidden. Now, the low jack goes into the tank for a very long time before deciding what this person wants to do. And finally, after I show you guys that beautiful board, this is really a beautiful board for this hand. Sounded a little bit like Donald Trump right there. Did not like that. Ends up folding, and I get the 7-5 through. The low jack player, by the way, ended up showing 2 jacks.
I won. So overall, it's just a great night. In for 500, out for 2,000, and I think it was 2,000 even, wasn't it? If you guys liked what you saw, I hope you did. Like, subscribe, follow, pray, tweet, do anything you want. As all those things will help the channel, and I will see you guys next time, probably from the barrel, because it is the greatest place to play No Limit Hold'em, Hot Limit Omaha, a mixture of the both in tournaments. All right, we'll see you next time.